Aries season felt like Aries season.
I'm so sorry, my dear Virgo friend.
I'm recovering still. My goodness, the fire signs, the fire months.
And we really did start off with a bang with my birthday, and then it was just go, go, go from then on.
Yeah. Even before.
Yeah, that week.
All of Aries season. Like day one till, I guess it's over now, but.
Yeah, I loved it.
I'm exhausted.
I was in my element. I was throwing fire to the wind.
I was trying to lay on the ground. No, I need the earth.
I needed some water.
Put this fire out.
And here I am like, wow! Yeehaw! Giddy up, yee-hi!
I'm like, I'm trying to keep up, but like, it's the first year out of quarantine that like we can do things.
Especially for Aries season. Aries season has been so tame the past 2 years, and I felt that.
Yeah.
And I was depressed.
The last 2 years, like, you were right on the cusp of like quarantine birthdays
and or lockdown.
Yeah. Like, the first year of that. So.
And then I had a 3-day bender to ignore it all.
To make up for that.
Yeah. What a good time.
Yeah, you did. Only for you. Quite literally.
Duh. Hey, I gave everyone a year warning.
And still I wasn't ready. I still was like, oh, it's here. It's time. Buckle up, honey. I think it was all so much fun. It was just the energy, like the energy that it takes, the amount of energy that you have to exert. You see, I'm struggling.
I could see the flashbacks in your eyeballs, and you keep like glitching out. Like, okay, oh no, let me explain myself. Let me get to the end of the point.
I've been needing rest, so I'm just getting used to resting again. Okay. No, it was so fun. It was just the amount of energy that you have to exert to do fun things. Is exhausting. They're fun and I love them, but you get tired after. Am I wrong?
That's so
what?
That's so it's like we forgot that fun is kind of exhausting.
Yeah, like, you have to rest before, during if you can, and definitely after.
Well, that is why I am a sitter. You know this. When there's a party and a chair, I'm in the chair, but I'm having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone low-key kind of surrounds me, and I'm just like, hey, y'all. Like,
you come to me, I'm not moving.
Yeah, give me my drink. Cross my legs in pretty. In the middle of a party.
Yeah. No, that whole month was just way more social than any month I've had in so long. Yeah. And again, like, love it. I love seeing people, but I'm just not used to that pace again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm tired. Well, now I'm like back to like kind of feeling normal. But I was like, I've seen every person I know in LA like 25 times this month.
I loved it. I feel for me it was like the rekindling of old, like not old friendships because we've always been friends with these people, but it was like the rekindling of like, are we all reemerging in this low-key kind of newness again? Mm-hmm. And are we all like doing all right? Okay, great. Let's meet up. Let's drink. Let's maybe be hungover too many times this month. That was me.
Yeah, I'm like, honestly, that wasn't even my issue.
That was my issue.
Maybe like secondhand. I'm like, feel what you're feeling.
Easily. I was like, I gotta give some of this away. Any takers.
Give some to mama. It's your birthday. You shouldn't have to carry all that hangover.
I did, and I wore it proudly. This Easter, oh my God, Easter brunch, I was on the struggle bus. My parents were just cracking up at me, and they're just like, all right.
That wasn't even from your birthday.
Nope, this was just last week. But yeah, no, I was calculating, and I have gone out every weekend since my birthday, so that's been about 3 or 4 weeks now. And I hadn't done back-to-back weekends in a long time. So I did feel it. But nonetheless, it could turn down a notch.
Maybe a little less.
Yeah, like let's go back to like Tuesday lunches.
Oh yeah.
With a glass of wine on a rooftop.
At like 5 p.m. Like,
sure.
In bed by 8.
I'm in bed by 5, but sure.
You're like, no lunch at 2.
That's what I'm saying. Like, last call, last meal, 3 p.m. I'm good.
Yeah. And on one of the days of your birthday, we got stuck in an elevator at the end of the night, literally like 5 minutes after midnight, 5 minutes after you actually turning 27. 10 of us together stuck in an elevator. Horrifying. I think the exhaustion I'm feeling is from the trauma from those 10 minutes because it was terrible.
I was talking to some of our friends who were in that situation with us, and both were just like, Jackie in any state, good in crisis.
Oh yeah.
You want Jackie? All you need is Jackie?
Yes.
5% charged on the phone, you're solid.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. So quickly. It was like 911. You know the address. You know where we are. You know the streets. Great. They're getting us out of here. Like, we are not staying in this metal box with no windows and no air for any longer.
And there's this one stranger next to us. And I just look over. Here's my state of being. I was, of course, litty.
Yes.
We were all litty. Take that and interpret that as you will.
But also note that it's midnight and we're going home.
That's right.
So we literally stayed just as long as we had to turn into your birthday.
Right. And that was after a full day at the pool getting litty.
And a day the night before. Remember, this was a 3-day bender. This was like the finale.
Well, for my guests, I still had the finale, post-credit scene, bonus scene the next day for my actual birthday. So for me, this was like, I was like...
Still in the middle.
Yeah, a little bit. It was the end of the middle of my bender.
Yeah.
What are we talking... Oh, my state of being in that elevator, I had to tell myself, I was like, if you acknowledge the situation that you are in right now, you will throw up and have a panic attack. So, don't look at Jackie because she will have one. She's in the middle of having one. I already knew. I was like, I can't look at you.
I know.
I can't look at you, but I will. So I did. And I saw everybody else, and everyone was just kind of in the same mindset. Like, if we just don't acknowledge all of this, none of us will throw up nor have panic attacks. So once you called 911, I was like, we're good. I just gotta sit here, breathe a little namaste, laugh at whoever's trying to crack a joke. But one of our other friends completely said he did not realize that was going on. That's how lit some of us were.
Well, that's great for him, but I was fully aware, so can't relate to that piece he must have been feeling. But I just remember,
Peace, not relatable.
Yeah.
Don't know her. Nope, not in that situation.
But it was 10 of us, so it must have been 9 of people that we were with, and then a
bonus girly
who was by herself, just got to experience that with 9 strangers together. Woo. But it was our one friend pushed the button. And then...
Oh, you're telling me this? Because I have no idea what went down. I didn't know the lead up. So, yeah, you narrate this for me.
Yeah, so our one friend pushed the button and...
To our designated floor that we needed to get to the cars. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gotta paint the picture in detail.
We were on floor 1. We needed to go to floor 2.
I think we were on the ground floor.
Yeah.
Oh. The match is hidden.
We can go back to the parking structure and double check, and we will let everyone know the correct floors so that this story is accurate. We never want to lie to our people.
No.
Be accurate.
I feel like I live at that parking structure because I get my nails done around the corner from there. That's where I park, and that's where I do my shopping.
No,
sometimes. So we like all of us were very familiar where we were at.
Yes, and like another friend knew the cross street. I was like, boom, thank you. Like, just
I said the name of the structure.
Yeah, and we had
all the info.
We weren't in like a somewhere we weren't familiar with, thankfully. So that did take some of the anxiety out, but not enough.
That's true.
Anyways, we pushed the button. And then we're all just like waiting. I don't know. We either didn't move or moved a little. And then the doors didn't open. We were all in like a party mood. So everyone was like talking, and it took a minute
for someone to realize.
But I noticed, but I was like, no, I don't accept that.
I'm like, fake news.
Yeah, like, no. And then I noticed two other friends in particular kind of like it may be setting in, or them kind of thinking the same thing. Like, are we gonna get out? Like, did you push the button? Like, I think someone thought like, oh, they didn't push the button.
Yeah.
They had pushed the button and we were stuck. And I like looked around and like saw it set in with people, and I was very in tune with the energy, and I just remember feeling like in one moment everyone knew, and like I could feel the energy just drop to everyone's butts. Like everyone collectively at the same moment was like, oh, you've got to be kidding. Like
I'm like, okay.
Like it got quiet, and then I was like, no! Like called 911 immediately.
Yeah, you didn't even skip a beat.
No. I don't want to be stuck in an elevator. Oh my gosh.
No. Thank God, I'll say this, like just a very minute detail. Thank God the weather wasn't extreme. Like it was a very pleasant weather. So like it wasn't too hot and therefore too stuffy, and it wasn't too cold. At least that to me like can help trigger certain things.
Or like mentally be like, oh my gosh, it's 90 degrees outside. Yeah. It's going to get so hot in here, and like freak out. Yeah.
Yeah. That for me is like a main thing.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. I was just like, the air is draining. No,
I just remember being in the back, and I'm just like, just don't acknowledge it. You'll get out. You will get out.
Well,
do we know when? No, but I can't focus on that because then it's not productive.
Yeah,
it's not productive to freak out for me. That's how I took it.
Yeah, and that was one of the things. Like, I knew we weren't on like the 50th floor. It's like we're like maybe on the ground.
It's 4 whole floors plus like 2 ground floors below that. So like I knew at least in that scenario we would have been fine. I just remember going back down, and then it opened, and then we ran out, and we were on the ground floor again. We're like, the stairs! Let's just take the stairs!
I don't even remember the stairs. Like
I do. I do.
I do
because I had to walk. I'm an elevator girl. I'm an escalator girl. I just
gave the phone to a different friend, and they're like, we should call 911 and tell them like they don't have to come, even though we saw that they arrived, but we'd already like gone to our cars or something. But it was horrifying, and we weren't in there for that long, thankfully. But it was just like after a whole trail of events, it felt like
that's how we ended.
Happy birthday! Like, you've been 27 for 5 minutes. How's it been? Traumatic? Great!
Yeah, no, it definitely is a traumatic experience, but I think because of how I just handled it with myself, I was just like, let's just stick with that energy even after.
I looked at you, and the look in your eyes looked like you were, like, accepting death. And you were like, you know what? I've had a great weekend. I'm with my best friends. If this is the end, like, we go. And that was, like, the
energy. At least it's all of us.
That's what I was thinking. You looked low-key content with the end. And I'm like, I mean, I guess. Like, at least we're together. No, we don't have to have a single host for the show. Like, I was like, she looks a little too okay.
When you're in the middle of a traumatic event like that, sometimes the only feeling is acceptance.
Yeah.
Not acknowledgement, but acceptance.
You just look like, okay. Like, I made it to 27. I had a good birthday. Like, I got 10 minutes into the night. I'm
good.
This is it.
I'm in Pasadena. I'm in my favorite parking lot. Why not?
I'm like, you know what? We all just hold hands and like,
I'm with some of my favorite people in the world.
And I see the doors opening, and I'm like, no!
Like, my parents, it already looks like I died in my house because I'm an only child. Like, they wouldn't have to do much after that. I low-key was in that state of mind, like, yeah.
You looked like, you know what? Life's been good.
Yeah.
Like 27, not bad. Like, not too shabby.
No complaints. If this is where I go, so be it.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to ignore that and get 911 on the phone because I'm not going there.
I accepted it for both of us in case that was the outcome.
Yeah. So... we got out.
That's a great segue into college talk.
Yeah,
we got out.
We made it out. Low-key feels like a trapped elevator sometimes.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. Like, you know you'll get out, but, like, while you're in it, it can be scary. Even if you're surrounded by all your favorite people.
Yeah, this is actually a funny impromptu little talk before what our subject is for today.
Yeah, we're saying, like, we're tired after 3 days of doing things socially and partying and things like that. And we're going to talk about college where, like, 3 days was, like, oh, you could do 300 days. Like, 3 and we're tired.
3 days sounded boring.
Like, oh, that's it. But there are 7 days in the week. Like,
what do you mean?
You go 7 days.
Yeah. 6 if you're, like, if you're a little busy.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's different. My tolerance and desire is lower than it was in 2013.
You know what? College wifeys IRL.
In the making.
The start. The beginning.
Where it all began.
Yeah. I see such fondness from those girlies.
Oh yeah.
And you know, a lot of strength and a lot of gusto.
Oh, we were resilient.
Limitless.
Couldn't touch us.
Couldn't break us down even when so many tried. Including self-inflicted.
We will not be broken.
Not take me down.
Rise up.
I was like just got like hit by a car before graduating. Like, Jesus Christ.
Oh.
No, but I love talking about college. I see more fondness, obviously. Some trauma happened. And I've done the processing and the reflecting from that era.
I don't know why we try to drink things while we record. Like, I'm a joke.
You're just your little...
Me trying not to spit out coffee.
You know, there was, at the time I would say there was more, I didn't realize it was the traumatic time.
Yeah.
Because I was just so high on life. From, like, the independence, the just being surrounded by the same age group at all times. Mm-hmm. Like, I really thrived in college. Again, that didn't come with some lessons that I apply to my everyday life now. But in the end of the day, like, I love talking about college because I just see it as such, like, a beautiful time in my life.
I loved college. It had a lot of good and a lot of things that I look back on now that I'm like,
yikes.
Oh, I see that very differently. Yeah. And I did not see that then.
Yep.
Which I don't think is a good or a bad thing. Obviously, we're a lot older and we're completely different people than when we met in college. And even when we graduated college, it's been a long time. You have a reaction to that? Would you like to comment on that?
Oh my, yeah. Well, I mean, even when we were saying, like, just 6 months ago, we were completely different people. Like, 18-year-old us? 18, 19-year-old Alyssa, she was resilient. She was, like, nothing could stop her, especially 18, 19-year-old Alyssa. Freshman year Alyssa, couldn't touch her.
Which I miss that because freshman year, I feel like we just had this blind confidence of, like, The world is our oyster. We are freshmen at ASU, baby.
We are shiny little pearls.
We are sun devils. Like, woo! It was like this confidence and like feeling of freedom that really I think you can only experience as a freshman in college. Like that feeling of like you're about to take off and have all of these new experiences and meet so many people. Couldn't touch us.
Was a different time.
Yeah. I'm like, wow. Weird.
I feel like I try to channel that blind confidence that you were saying when I left for London because I had no choice but to, or else I would have gone right back home. Been like, never mind. So I will say I am trying to channel her again. And honestly, what has been getting me through all of these back-to-back outings.
Really?
Yeah, truly. I'm just like, you know what?
I did it once. There was a time.
Let's channel that and go.
Yeah, I've kind of let her go.
Oh.
We parted and like, made our peace with like, we're not going to see each other again. Love her.
Yes.
She made me who I am today, but don't want to be her ever again.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I say I channel the energy, definitely not the person, but the aura, the energy.
Oh, yeah. No,
and
I get
she's been fun to channel into these lately.
Yeah.
But let's talk about how we met.
Yeah.
I love this story. So does my mom.
Let's see. We met
in 2013. September, technically, right?
August,
I'm sure.
September.
Yeah, because if we didn't say it already in the past, we lived in the same dorm building, and you were 2 floors up, and I was on the ground level. So we must have crossed paths even before we did our sorority thing, and then officially met.
Yeah, it's so weird to think that like we literally crossed like in the walkway sometimes, probably, and didn't know each other. Like what? Yeah, that's so weird that there was a bit of time, probably only like a couple weeks, that we didn't know each other at school. Like my entire college experience, you're in every experience,
in every memory,
every encounter, you're right there. Every story, every memory, like you're there. So it is weird that there was like just the beginning, like the very first couple weeks, but yeah, once we had sorority rush and then realized we're in the same building, it was like, oh, perfect.
Yeah. I'm sure I remember you like in passing. I'm like, I know who this is because she lives here or lives near me, because we were probably 2 of 10 POC people in the entire campus. So I definitely noticed that because I think you're very distinct looking, minus the POC part, as well as me as well. Yeah. So because of our distinctness, I'm just like, I know you. I'm pretty sure I know you. Yeah. And have seen you around.
Well, would you like to kick off the story of how we met?
Yeah.
Tell me. Remind me.
Yes. And then, of course, chime in with the details.
Oh, of course.
So it's September 2013. It's fall time in Arizona.
So it's 112 degrees.
With monsoons coming in hot. It was the Monday of our very first, like, new member meeting for our sorority. And it was noon, I remember.
Oh. You remember. You need me for details now.
Because it's such a core memory of it. And I was on FaceTime with my mom outside because I got really bad service with FaceTime in my room. Dorm life. And I remember seeing you, Jackie. Your name's Jaclyn.
Hi.
Walking across outside because it was like outdoor dorms.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed you walking across to probably go pee or something.
Because we had to trek to a bathroom.
Oh, mine was down the hall.
Yeah.
Like I had to, it's like walking a full block.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your flip-flops because you didn't want
your shower shoes.
God.
With your shower caddy.
Yes.
I do not miss needing like a mini luggage to take to the shower.
And we were outside too. So either way, like you were either going to sweat coming out of the shower or you were going to freeze coming out of the it was anyway.
Yeah. We had community bathrooms.
Fun.
One of maybe the only dorm that had them. maybe there was one other older dorm.
Yeah, we were one of the oldest ones, and it still hasn't been touched yet.
Yeah, it's like the last place on campus that they have
not touched. Anyway, I see you walking across, and I'm on FaceTime with my mom, and I'm like, Mom, wait, I gotta talk to this girl real quick. And so I was like, hey, like, you're in, our sorority, right? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, are you like going to our meeting tonight? And you're like, yeah. And so then I was like, you want to go together? Since like I don't know anyone else in this dorm who's like directly in it, or maybe we did, but I hadn't made plans with them yet. And then we already had each other's number, because we had exchanged it at our bid day for our sorority. But that was the time when like you were just getting numbers.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, you want to get dinner before? And you were like, sure. Like, I'm the one just, like, asking. And I'm like, yes,
I've sure. Never seen you. And I'm like, who is this girl? Like, making plans. I guess we're sisters. Like, I don't know her.
Like, sisterhood.
Just, like, starts screaming the chant at me. I'm like, I don't know this person.
Anyway, so we had the lovely IHOP across from our dorm, which came in so clutch because it was 24 hours. And, oh, my, we lived there. Mm-hmm. I got gift cards throughout the year for
really?
IHOP. Yeah, because I told everybody, I was like, just give me IHOP gift cards because it's eating up my spending budget.
Yeah, convenient, but also horrible.
Oh, that's why we did our buddy workout training.
Like, freshman 15 came from IHOP. And bagged wine.
And plastic vodka.
Like, everything was... There were no nutrients.
Yeah.
Like, that's
we might as well have been consuming gasoline. Like that's how it felt. Yeah, so then we make our little plan of when to meet up and all of that, and we do. And it's time to meet up for dinner. And you come down to my dorm. Kid you not, we are in the exact same outfit.
Yes.
Exact. Like
a very particular outfit.
Particular color scheme.
We both just did like a look down and up and we're like, well, all right, off to dinner. Like, I guess we're married.
It's like, oh, that's nice.
Like, there was no like discomfort or like weird. It was like
right on.
Sick.
Yeah.
Pound it.
Yeah. Like, we'll take a shot for that later.
We both had on a white blouse and these orange shorts, but it was like the most particular shade of orange. Like, I can only call it 2013 orange. It was like this very particular orange.
Got it.
Different shorts, but same color. And brown wedges. So we were ready for sorority meeting number 1.
Oh, and our sorority bag.
Oh, yes, of course.
Duh.
Of course.
Gotta rep.
Absolutely. We are Greek women now.
No. We are part of a new social scene.
And Hellenic. So, yeah, head to toe, same little outfit. And off we go to IHOP. It was darling.
It was. I wish there was a hidden camera somewhere.
I know.
I would love the security footage from that IHOP. Yeah, and then we went off, and the rest low-key was history. Because then after that, because then we obviously got along.
Yeah.
Like this, almost.
Yeah. Well, I remember very early on, a different time we were at IHOP. I think it was like there was a football game and we were not going and we went to IHOP or something.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
But we were just sitting and like talking, and we both at one point said like, I don't get tired of you. Like, I hope you know that like I'm really down with this friendship. Like, we verbalize like we're in it. Like, yeah, like, you're gonna stay if you want me to stay because I'm really feeling you. Like,
do we put a title on this yet or what?
Facebook official. Like, found a bestie.
Found the wife. Yeah. Found the life partner. Like everybody else, get in line.
Yeah. And we just said that very early on. Like, I don't get tired of you, and I was like, oh, same. Like, because you meet so many people, like, the very start of your freshman year, like, you're not going to stick with every person you meet.
Especially with how gigantic our college, our particular college campus was. I genuinely did not see the same person more than, like, maybe 3 times.
Yeah, and then, like we're saying, like, you meet a bunch of different people, you hang out with different people, see who you get along with, but I feel like we always stuck together if we were, like, hanging out with someone new. Like, it was always us like trying new people, but like we were always together. We're like, we like them, yay or nay? Nay, moving on. How about them? Yep, okay, cool, let's hang out with them. Like, we were like a package deal, and I feel like that was established very early on, and people 100%. Would like see me and be like, where's Alyssa? And I'm like, she's coming, don't worry. Like,
she's just yakking in the bathroom. She'll be out of brunch soon.
Like, it was like alarming if we weren't together. They're like, did something happen?
Like are they feuding?
Yeah, like if you don't know where she is, no one does. Like,
honestly, sometimes.
So yeah, our close friendship was established very early on, and
I love that story though.
Matching outfit, dinner at IHOP,
sorority meetings,
and the rest is history.
And now here we are, still attached at the hip. But yeah, we kind of touched on this, but dorm life.
I don't miss it at all.
I don't either. I will say, as much as I like quote unquote enjoyed it for what it was during that time, I was also just as ready to be done with that.
Mm-hmm. You're like, cute, saw it, let's move on.
Yeah. With colleges who you have to live in a dorm all 4 years, I could not imagine. Because I know that exists, especially with like smaller liberal arts colleges. Like the thing is to live in a dorm. You're like all 4 years. But again, only child here, used to having my own room, my own space, my own like independent living situation. So dorm life was definitely an adjustment, but because I was so pumped and so excited for the newness, I like didn't even care.
Yeah, like it was very convenient for social reasons, and like being on campus is of course very convenient. We just had like the ickiest dorms. Yeah. Some of the dorms on campus were like hotels.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous, renovated, like skyscraper kind of buildings. And we get like the building that hasn't been touched in 45 years and smells like it and looks like it. It has community bathrooms.
And it's the furthest corner on the edge of campus.
So, ups and downs. It's all about perspective. And I always felt like we had like the worst dorm buildings, but like the best people overall.
I agree with that.
Yeah, we were with all the artists and dancers and designers. I'm like, I love art people anyways. Yeah. Like it, I guess all had this shared icky feeling about our dorms. So we're like, you know what, we can bond over that.
Now that was trauma.
Yeah. Shared trauma brings people together.
Yeah. So what were your expectations specifically going into dorm life, if you can recall that time?
I don't really remember my expectations. I know I was very excited. I'm sure I looked at pictures online and was like, okay, I'm not getting the glamorous dorms, but they make it look appealing online. They weren't like unlivable. We're just kind of adding to the drama and comparing to other dorms. Like we had the worst.
Easily. And everyone knew that. And everyone was, and not only that, everyone was like, where do you live?
Yeah.
What dorm is that?
No one ever knew. And we're like, by IHOP. And they're like, okay.
Like, ooh.
Yeah. It was a lot of like realization and then like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was excited to experience it. But I don't think I had like sky high expectations. It was like, oh yeah, that's where I'll live. Great. Neutral but excited.
It was more so the independent living and the liberation that like really took over like the environment of dorm life for me, which made it then like very doable and livable. I did live next to our RA, though. So that was a little inconvenient, but nonetheless, he didn't bother us, so it was fine.
What I was excited about with dorms was decorating and getting bedding and accessories and making my own little space. That part was so fun. I probably took months to pick out the perfect Bed Bath & Beyond comforter.
You had a canopy.
No, I didn't.
You didn't have a little... You didn't have...
Did I?
I swear you had a canopy.
Might have been my roommate's. I did it.
Oh, crap.
I'm like, am I forgetting? That sounds cute. I would think I would have remembered. No, I don't think I did.
I think it's a roommate.
Yeah, the decorating and like buying things for my room and putting up pictures and everything, that was super fun. So I was excited for the interior design element.
I wish we were friends then. I had no taste. And for all 4 years, I had no taste in fashion, in interior design, in makeup. Nothing. And I'm accountable. I'm calling myself accountable here. I think I'm way better now. More refined taste. It's not all over the place in my airy, scattered brain. I had lime green sheets. You know what my color scheme was? Lime green, black and white.
Yeah.
And I hit it hard with that lime green.
You really did.
I was committed to lime green.
The lime green. Like, you do love green.
I do. And you know what? Lime green low-key is making a resurgence back into my life, but I'm curating it in a way where it's like, that's pleasing to look at.
It doesn't need to be the sheets, the walls, the chair, the rug, the pillow, like
the curtains. The curtains. Oh my God. My roommate too, her color scheme was purple, blue, and white. She had it going on. It was like peacock colors because she had peacock like decals. Yeah. So, like, it worked cohesively between the two of us, and her darling mother made us curtains.
Oh, that's so nice.
With, like, the mix of our color scheme. And I was like, I'm so sorry you had to pull lime green to make these darling curtains.
If I had known, I would have picked a different color for you.
Seriously. So the room itself was cohesive, sure, but was it cute? No. So that is the one thing I do wish I had more fine-tuning with. I think I had great taste. I never had the execution for it to be very cohesive and aesthetically nice.
I get that. I never thought that. I was like, oh, this is your room. Like, okay. But I feel like the lime green fits your zest.
That's true.
Electric, fire, bright. You are not gonna miss this glow in the dark. It fit the energy that we were at.
Yeah, definitely.
So
we have pictures of that. You know what? I have a lot of pictures of you on my hamper. Fun fact: I did laundry once a month.
Yeah, I think the community laundry is more common than the community
bathrooms. Yeah. And I just also had a new profound sense of laziness that I never tapped into in my whole life until it was laundry time, and I was like, nope, gonna hit you up, never. And so I had my lime green sack. I called it my Santa sack. Yeah, it was gigantic.
It was huge. It was you shouldn't have that much laundry to do. No one should be able to fill up a sack that big. It's 10 loads of laundry.
Your whole body fit on it.
Yes.
And you many a times slept on it as a bed.
It was like a giant beanbag. Nothing smelled. It wasn't gross.
It was very concealed.
It was nice. And I'm like, ooh, a beanbag. I probably didn't even realize it was laundry the first few times I laid on it.
Yeah, and that truly was the reality the whole time. That was that energy. Sleeping on my laundry sack. Anyway, lessons, reflections from dorm life.
Yes.
Fire it up.
Yeah. Living with a stranger can be hit or miss.
Quite literally.
Yeah. So something I did learn, a huge lesson, maybe my biggest freshman year takeaway, was that you never have to stay in a situation you are not comfortable with. You are never stuck anywhere. You never have to stay anywhere or stay with anyone that you don't want to be with. Yeah, that was maybe my biggest takeaway and biggest lesson that I had to learn, and a big push that forced me to do something that I've never done before, but that I grew a lot from and felt amazing and liberated after. But yeah, if you need to move out of your dorm or get a different roommate or live by yourself, do it.
Yeah.
The people in your dorm or the people who work in your dorm office hopefully will help you, but if they don't, then you honestly have to figure it out on your own and get out of bad situations.
Yeah.
Get out of it.
There's always a way. Always a way.
Yeah. Sleep on your friend's floor for a month. I literally I did that with you and with other friends until I actually could take it into my own hands. And if you can't tell, I left my original
let's just
dorm situation, moved second half, but I had to take it into my own hands. It wasn't like...
No one was like holding your hand through the process.
Yeah, it was like, okay, you want to leave? Then
figure it out.
Yeah. And it was like, you know what? I will. Like the people, I just remember like what are they called? Not RAs, but the...
Like just housing reps, I guess.
Yeah, the housing people like didn't understand the urgency.
Yeah.
And so I had to create that myself. And it was uncomfortable, but it was, like I said, liberating. And I got out of a situation that I was very unhappy with for a long time, but just felt like, oh, this is the situation. And then it finally clicked, like, I don't have to be here one more second.
Literally.
And so I got out and it was incredible. And then I got a new best friend out of the situation. So it ended up being like a full circle kind of moment, but it took a lot of new gusto and new courage and confidence to take something into my own hands and figure out like, I'm uncomfortable, I'm unhappy, this is not the life for me, how do I change it? And then doing it.
Yeah, no, there was 3 of us living in my dorm for a moment there.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
Like living in a shoebox with 3 girlies, like who really got along and just was like there to support you. And I think that was like the overwhelming feeling was like, she needs our support. We're here. It's just going to be a party all night long because that's just how it was. Yeah. That energy of like, be here anyway. Like you would be here anyway.
Yeah. Like I'll go up to my room to change and get my toothbrush and then like I live in your room. Like I just didn't want to spend time there.
Well, you kind of pulled like a Phoebe from Friends where you were slowly taking your things down to my room. So like we had like double the stuff at one point.
I know I'm not going to be here. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm getting the heck out of here.
Yeah.
And so thank you for being the midpoint of limbo before I got to...
We would have figured that out the entire school year. You know, you would have just been down with us.
Yeah, on the ground floor.
Yeah. I know it was obviously very stressful and, life lesson-y for you.
Yeah.
But I remember having, like, the best of times. I think of that time very fondly. That particular month very fondly.
I do, too. And I am very proud of freshman year me because that was, like, a huge point in my life and a huge life learning experience. That I'd never been put in a situation like that where I had
quite
to take
like that.
my own comfort, my own safety, my own life into my own hands completely. There weren't adults helping me.
Yeah.
I hadn't told like anyone really about like what I was going through or like that I wanted to move or anything. So it was like, no one else is going to do this. I'm at my breaking point. Let's blossom.
Definitely. Yeah, as soon as you got that room assignment, Loki was sad to see you go.
I mean, I'm sure I was still in your room 24/7.
And then I became in that room 24/7.
Because then I had a room that I wanted to bring people to. And I'm like, let me host. Like, come on in.
With someone who's also like-minded and like nice.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah. So the person I moved in with is still a very close friend, but we had similar situations before. I think we both had the like, please let this be a normal, good person. And honestly, that shared trauma like
bonded
us. We're like, they did what? So did mine. You went through that. Me too.
Yeah.
So it was kind of crazy that like our experiences lined up, but yeah. Learned a lot from it. I now know how to get myself out of any situation.
Confidently.
Oh, yeah. And quickly.
Yes.
With urgency.
And efficiency.
Like, no more honey.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah. How about you? Any life lessons from dorm life?
Yeah. Boundaries. I crossed too many. Accountability. Yeah, no, that entire living situation, I loved my roommate. I thought we got along pretty well. There was moments where I was like very much in the wrong and crossing way too many boundaries just living with her. And like just I wasn't respecting the space or the time or anything like that at one point. And I will say that was definitely one of like a low of like life lessons that I did have to learn of myself of like, you're going to lose friends if you keep going down this route, or you're going to lose like really great contacts at the very least. So during that time, as fun as it was and how we're speaking of it, it was also very much like putting myself in my place of like, okay, girl, you do have to get it together. Have fun, party it up, but like learn your limits. Learn, your friends' limits and what they're comfortable with in their surroundings and having people over and this, that, and the third. So that was my biggest takeaway, is like me not like making anyone ever feel uncomfortable because of my own inhibitions and lack of wanting to follow rules and all of that. So calling myself out.
Yeah, and like you said before, you're an only child. You're used to having your own room and your own space, and so it is an adjustment. Even if you aren't an only child, to now be living in the same room as someone you don't know.
Yeah, I was acting as if I had my own space. We moved past it. It was totally fun at the end of the day. But during that time, I was like, this is huge for me to be called out, to accept it, and to actually genuinely apologize for like crossing boundaries. But I think that then led me to be a decent roommate with you the next year, because then we shared a room the following year in a dorm. It was a dorm.
Like sorority house. It was a dorm. It was same ick level as what we had just came from. But we told ourselves it was an improvement.
And it was, because even though we still shared a bathroom, it was at least attached to our room.
Yeah, true. We didn't have to wander through the literal desert to go take a shower.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was nice.
We technically had an upgrade, but still not as nice as the rest of campus. But anyway, that freshman dorm life experience definitely then helped me learn how to be more self-aware, essentially, to then be able to be livable. For people to be livable with me, the following years.
Yeah. In theory, it makes sense that, especially as freshmen, you live on campus, you live in a dorm, you live with someone new. But honestly, looking back, or just thinking about it now, putting two strangers together and telling them to live together is kind of psychotic and kind of evil and not ideal in a lot of ways. Like, we had an online network to like meet other incoming freshmen, and I think a lot of schools do that. So it was like right before like social media was really a big thing. So it was a network that the school had created, and that's nice, that's helpful, but still, I cannot imagine living with a stranger right now. I don't care if we've chatted for a couple weeks online, like, absolutely not. Nothing sounds worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, the idea of actually having to share a space that's either, at the moment, not my parents or not a partner, no, absolutely not. Like, I love my space too much, and like I respect other people loving their space too much, where I'm like, one, I don't ever want to like not be friends with someone because we can't live together, because it's just not compatible. But even if we are compatible, again, I love my own space way too much now, having experienced it.
Yeah. And sleeping, it takes trust to sleep next to someone, either in the same bed, in the same room. I have to trust that I can be unconscious around you and you're like not gonna murder me or like do something to me in my sleep. Like, that takes trust.
Yeah, or recording me snoring and chewing, like, you don't, like, I don't know what I'm gonna exert out in my sleep.
I don't know what your motives are. Like, it is vulnerable to sleep.
And changing too in front of someone casually, because you have to. It's your own. It's the only private space you have.
Yeah.
And it's shared.
Yeah. And we're not going to walk a mile down to the bathroom to change.
Right. In a curtain stall.
Pathetic. Our school was not poor. Like, come on, loosen the purse strings
like
for us.
Like, it's a Pac-12 school. Oh, my goodness.
Can we get some shower doors?
Anything. I think there's pros and cons. As psychotic as it is, it's also a little genius, just because you never know the pairings you're ever going to come out with that. So it's equally, to me, psychotic and genius.
It's a unique experience. I would say do it. Like, freshman year, if you have the chance, live in a dorm, have that like traditional college experience if that's what you're looking for. But definitely a lot of ups, definitely a lot of downs.
Yeah.
If you get it right, or if you get a good roommate or someone that you genuinely have a friendship with, that's incredible. And you really can't replace that kind of experience with anything else.
Yeah. And also keep in mind, it's most likely both or however many people are living in said shared space, first time ever living on their own. You're learning how to take care of yourself without any assistance, you know, keeping yourself in some kind of routine, even if it's chaotic.
Yeah.
So I think that level of newness is also just a transition, and you're just sharing that experience with people. So I think there's a lot of camaraderie in that.
No, wouldn't trade that time for anything, but
no, not
it's
at all.
crazy to look back on.
Yeah.
I think that we put in the work. We earned our right to live in the beautiful place that we did junior and senior year.
Yeah.
So we really deserve that. We worked, we put in the time.
Yes.
Roughed it.
Yeah.
And then got a glorious junior senior experience. So.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I loved where we lived last 2 years. Because one, obviously we had our own room. So that felt luxurious.
Some privacy. A door that closes and like there's no one else in the room but you. Magic.
A walk-in closet.
Yeah. Our own bathrooms.
And tubs.
Yeah.
We got a tub.
I could bathe.
Yeah.
In a tub that wasn't nasty.
Yeah. I mean, I made my nasty again. Peak laziness right there. But nonetheless.
It's your own nastiness.
Yeah, that's so true.
It's fine.
Oh my God, my dear darling parents came senior year at one point and they saw my tub. I swear my dad almost threw up.
Really?
I feel so bad. And they're like, do you own Lysol? Do you?
Honey, here's a sponge.
Like, hands and knees, scrub, please. And that's what my poor father did.
Really?
Yeah, and I still never cleaned it after that because it's spotless.
You're like, great, I'm good.
I am not nasty like that anymore. FYI. Again, it was like, I can't explain the level of imbalance when it came to my laziness, yet my motivation to party and like be out and about. Like, there was no balance there. Mm-hmm. So therefore, my room was either spotless and clean, squeaky clean, or a dump. There was no in between. Especially those last 2 years when it was my own space.
Yeah. No, the last 2 years we had our own house, our own little 5-person house. It was within like a community of other houses, and it was like all college people, but it was our own little property, and it was so cute.
And it was the place to be those 2 years because it was brand spanking new. We saw it being built from the ground up. Like, we would drive around, we would pass by and drive our sophomore year when we weren't living there yet and be like, we're about to live there next year.
I see our plot of land. There's a pile of dirt on it. There wasn't a pile of dirt last time.
I'm like, look, the frames are up. Oh, look, they put spackle.
Yes. That was honestly so much fun to drive by while it was being built, because anytime it was like, I'm really sick of these dorms that we're currently in, we could drive by and be like, but you know what? Next year, we're going to live like queens.
Yes.
And we did. And it was amazing. And yeah, it was brand new.
Yes.
We were the first
ones
people
to ever live there
in our house.
That's iconic.
I know. We really earned that.
And it was such a cute color. It was periwinkle. I felt like a real housewife, and I was living.
I know.
Living large, honey buns. But yeah, with all of that comes the party scene, especially at our school. It has quite a reputation.
I know. And I'm fine with that reputation when people who go there or have gone there talk about it. Every college is a party school if you want it to be like, I don't know. I know that's the reputation. True for some, not true for others, but you don't know.
That, and everyone was like, ooh, easy school. Yeah. And I'm like, yes, fine. Easy to get in. Yes, 98% acceptance rate or something like that.
But what's wrong with that?
However, and we said it during, it's one thing to get into an easy school, but school, no matter where you go, it's a whole other thing to finish.
Yeah.
And no matter what time frame, but like just to finish. So many people we knew were either super seniors, took a 5th year, or just dropped out completely.
Yeah.
So yeah, fine. Say all you want of how easy it is to get in. But, you know, just in any school, whether you went to an Ivy League or a state school, like staying and then finishing is a whole other ball game. And adding the socializing and the partying and all of that into the mix. Woo!
But that's the thing. It wasn't easy. Like, classes weren't always a breeze. Like,
No.
I struggled with different classes. Some were easier than others, but it wasn't like a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Once you're in.
Yeah.
So just know that.
Yeah.
You know, even if a school has a high acceptance rate, doesn't mean that it's like easy classes and you're never going to go to class and it's just going to be a breeze. Like, that was not the case. But because we did want the social life and took that by the reins and wanted that to be a priority, okay, fine. If that is your focus, then you get to learn how to balance, because it's not like we threw school out the window. We didn't throw our social life out the window.
Yeah.
We had it down to a science. Okay, that paper's due at 11:59. I want to start getting ready to go out by 8:30. Okay, great. I have this amount of time. I'm going to do this. I got to do this. Like, everything, we got it down. We did not let academics slip. We didn't let partying slip. We're like, we can have it all.
Yeah. No.
So that was a skill, and I'm proud of us.
Oh, are you kidding? I apply it now.
Yeah, seriously, because when you have the temptation of, like, literally our housing junior and senior year had a shuttle to take us to the bars.
Yeah.
So it's outside of our house. It's free. It's there on the weekends. Like, that is extremely tempting. Did we go out without finishing the stuff we had to do first, though? No. Were we maybe tired? Yeah. Did we care? No.
No.
Because we wanted to do everything.
Also, the stamina at the time that we had then. Are you kidding? I had half-day hangovers then. Now I have 3-day hangovers. Yeah, and even when that balance was slipping sometimes on the school end for me, I always was like, okay, no, you got to get it together or else you can't have all of this fun and your parents are going to make you go back home.
Yeah, no, we were responsible. Work hard, play hard. I know that's a cliche, but that defines our college experience.
To a T. Work hard, play hard was like, we were the literal embodiment of that phrase. What were your expectations, maybe assumptions going into that type of social reputation that our school had?
I remember being excited for the social scene. Yes. Our college has that reputation. We've made that clear. And you know what? That was part of the appeal, honestly.
Yes. I'm proud to say that too.
Yeah, like I don't see that as a bad thing. I didn't party in high school at all or do anything like that. I genuinely had no interest. In college, I wanted to experience new things. But at the same time, I felt like we were always safe and we always had our group, within our group, like this understanding of like, we leave with the people we came with. If we don't, then we make sure whoever is not coming back with us is good and like making sure all of that is okay, but never being unsafe, never leaving someone without knowing where they are, like always looking out for our friends in that way, because 100%. As fun as it is, it's new. You don't really know where you are. You don't know all the people you're with. It's college. Things can happen. So
things do happen.
Yeah. So like have all the fun you want, be excited, but also have the part of your brain that's like, I'm still on alert.
Yeah.
Watch my drink. Don't do that thing. Don't go over here with this person alone. Like you need the smarts in order to have that experience.
Full force enjoying it.
Yes. You have, Uber. We didn't even have Uber at that time. We had like taxis. So do you know the number to call that? Do you know your address to get back? Like
campus safety hotline.
Yes.
Like
all
everything.
of that. All of that. You got to have all your safety tools before you go rage.
I had way more laminated cards of different like hotlines than I did like IDs and credit cards. Like the amount of information I had on me at all times was insane. Obviously for good reason, and that was a good thing. But yeah, what a time.
Yeah, and that was actually a good thing with our campus. They had like the campus security, like around campus you could push a button on these poles and like a van would come and like pick you up.
Yeah, campus safety, golf carts or vans.
Yeah, even if you weren't on campus, if you were around campus and you called the number, they'd come get you.
Yeah.
So that was very nice, and it was free.
Or on the other end, they would take you to the party.
Yeah. And they're like, "Are you sure this is the library?" And you're like, "Oh, you can hear it bumping."
Like strobe lights going everywhere.
Like, "Yep, got my pen and paper."
So funny.
Yeah, enjoy yourself, but be safe.
100%.
Like, genuinely take care of yourself and the people you come with, because you may trust each other, but that does not mean you can trust everyone you're around.
Are you my mother?
Might as well be.
The amount of times she's preached that is hilarious. But yeah, no, but it's all very true.
Yeah.
And something to take at the highest regard. Like, that is your number one standard / boundary that you must abide by. And also knowing the vibe of your friend group. I feel like because we had such very much aligned values and expectations going into the social scene, like, all of us wanted to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
All of us, like, you know, wanted to just experience it all. So the fact that there was that understanding, no one was a downer, no one was like too much
or like pushing other people to do more than they wanted.
Exactly. I feel like because of that also elevated the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I say about even just going to like party or concerts and festivals. Like, who you go with is like, I think, the number one thing that's going to make or break your experience.
Yeah. We always had a good time because we were a good time.
Yeah.
And our friends are a good time. So it was like, there could be no one else here, and it's just like the four of us that came, and I'm having a ball.
And that, to me, and that is what has continued throughout my social life from then till today, which I'm so grateful for.
Yeah. What were your expectations going in?
Well, so in high school, I was worked to the bone in every sense. And I was never more ready mentally in my entire life to let loose the way I did, specifically freshman year of college, specifically the first week I was on that campus. Before I even knew you.
Yeah.
Like, it was mere days before we were to meet and start this wonderful life partnership. But oh my God, oh me, oh my, did I go balls to the wall, like out and about, hello, this is me. Like, give me a drink. Responsibly. No, I was mentally going into that social setting, well knowing what the reputation was. I was like, bring it. I have never been more prepped and ready in my entire life for anything. Mm-hmm. And again, that had a big part of like how much I was, overworking myself in high school. So well knowing the reputation and well knowing that I desired a very stereotypical American college experience, I was just like, I get my football team, I get my colors, which are like kind of cute. Mm-hmm. I get, the dorm life, I get the sorority option if I wanted it. I get to study exactly what I want to be studying. Like, to me, I was like, I'm about to enter the most magical part of my youth. And a big part of that draw was the party and social scene.
Yeah. If you worked super hard in high school and you're like, I'm 18, I don't live at home, I have like this pot of gold experience at my fingertips, like, of course you're going to run with it.
I'm going to dive into it and suffocate myself in that pot of gold. Coins up my nostrils of all the cracks. Like, oh my God, like, give it to me.
Yeah. Like, not just with like party experience, but senior year, once I knew that I wanted to go to this school, I was like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I hadn't even heard of it, or like it wasn't on my radar at all.
Same.
Until like the very start of senior year. But like, it was such a stressful time leading up to like applying for colleges, SAT prep and all of that. Like, that was a horrible time.
I had really bad test anxiety. Like, test anxiety and me, we were besties. Mm-hmm. So like bringing like standardized testing up again,
No, I
made my
hate it.
heart clench a little.
To this day, I hate test taking. That's a whole other topic, but just, that whole time in high school of like, okay, this test is going to determine the rest of your life, and the grades you're going to get next year are going to determine your success in life. That's just false. Yeah. That's not true. And just the pressure that is put on kids at that age is like, okay, this is already such a big turning point in life. If you're going to go to college, that's huge. Why do you have to add all of the stress of like, well, if you don't get in here, then like you're going to be a failure. Like, can you let the kids relax?
This is just the first chapter of life.
Yeah.
Like,
you're a baby.
Like 60-year-old you is literally not going to remember, or maybe because of how traumatic it is, it's not going to be relevant when you're 60. So like, to me, it's like all the life lessons, all the important things. It's like, implement them early, but like standardized testing, no real person actually does that. You can't even measure success or intelligence. I can go off. You can't measure any of that.
It's like how well you take tests.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the most important thing here. So with ASU, are we saying ASU?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
If we weren't clear, we went to Arizona State University, and we can't remember if we've been saying ASU or just our college. So ASU from here on out.
Yeah. Go Devils.
Yeah. Bark 'em.
Yeah, but that whole part of high school was like, you know what? This stress is not for me. This is not a vibe.
This is not mine.
This is not my energy. Not enjoying that time and just that pressure. So honestly, like, to be completely honest, the fact that ASU had a high acceptance rate, I was like, oh, good.
Yeah.
Great. Like, please take me. First of all, I want to go there anyways.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was like the traditional American college experience. It's the biggest school in the country. Pac-12, beautiful weather, had what I wanted to study, beautiful campus, fun city to live in. It was like, and they're probably gonna accept me. Like, what a deal. Like, sounds great. The pressure that's put on kids at that age is so not necessary. If you enjoy it, that's great. But it's just like the feeling of like, if you don't do well enough, your life is going to amount to nothing when you're 17. Like, that's a lot to be told.
At 17.
Yeah, and it's just not true.
Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah, no, my high school, like, we offered APs and all of that, but technically, because of how advanced the school itself was, like, every class was considered an AP in college, in the college standard. So if you took an AP, you're practically taking like a senior year college class. Yeah. So, I mean, granted, I did get a lot of general classes waived because I technically I had those credits from high school, insanely enough. Like, that to me is insane. Yeah. It's like, why am I taking college level? I get it. If you are just that advanced in your education, all power to you. I just went from, 8th grade into this high school, and I was like, oh my God, I'm taking college level classes without the fun.
Yeah.
Excuse you?
Like,
what?
No.
Yeah. So there's pros and cons to it, but the overall pressure during that time just to get into any college, like whether it's Ivy League or state, like just to even get in is just insanity. And that's why you see so many kids go off the rails their freshman year, like myself. And honestly, I was lucky to have a great support system of friends that would look out for me if I did have, a low night. Yeah. A little too much. And I'm very grateful for that.
I knew early on, as soon as I looked into ASU, like I think I've mentioned before, like I'm like a one thing kind of person where like I find what I want and I'm like, that is it. I'm not looking at other schools. I'm not going to, I'm not going to entertain the thought of going somewhere else. Like, I bought merch, like, first semester of senior year. I'm like, heck yeah, baby, I'm going to be a Sun Devil. Like, everyone was, like, stressing. And I'm like, go to ASU. It's, like, the best school ever. And you're probably going to get in. Like, what's better than that? Like, I hacked the system. And for me, it was just, like, it just looked, like, so fun. And it was. Yes. But the day that I got accepted, I called my mom immediately. I left class. I'm like, pardon me. Like, I gotta go because I checked the little online profile 10 times a day.
Yeah.
And yeah, the day that like I was officially accepted, I'm like,
done.
Like,
gonna be my wife.
Alyssa's gonna meet me there. Like, I just knew I was supposed to go there. I don't know, just that whole, it's so different for everyone, but that whole time is just incredibly chaotic.
Yeah.
And so to find a school that I was like, it's perfect and I'm going to get in and I'll know very early on, like, I think it was still first semester of senior year.
I remember ASU being a rolling admissions.
Yes.
So you can apply at any time and they will just give you an answer within the month.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
There are of course deadlines of like when to actually start. But with the rolling admissions, you can apply whenever.
Yeah, so I felt very happy about that. I'm like, good luck to the rest of you, but I know where I'm going.
Yeah. For me, on that particular subject, ASU was one of the last on my list that I added because I was auditioning for dance programs. And I was willing to do 5 in-person auditions, and then the rest were online, which was great. Or you didn't have to audition at all. You just had to get into the school. So I didn't trust those schools that much for the program to be great, even though it looked fine online. But it was one of my last auditions that I went to. It was the first time ever setting foot on that campus. And I was like, I added this kind of last minute, but like, this is low-key kind of my first choice now.
Yeah.
Like stepping onto it and then like meeting the program and meeting the people. I'm like, this is already a more arts and theory focused type of dance program versus like technical and commercial skill. So the draw was the program. Yeah, I don't know. There was just some sense of like magic almost. Yes. This zest that I was like, I think this might be it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't confident until I did get that acceptance. And I already had heard back from all of my other schools I applied for, because when you apply for a specific program on top of a school, that process, only so many of us at my high school were doing that because like artists, you know. And so it was a very unique experience having to do essentially like 2 applications for every single school. So I technically did 20 applications because I only applied to 10 to 11 schools.
Yeah.
Insanity. Yeah. So again, one of the last ones, and then I don't know, just something clicked where I was like, okay, out of all of my options now, this seems like the most fitting for me at this very season in my life and going forward. I never felt so aligned with an environment before like I did, like how it was then. Yeah.
And I regret nothing at all.
I truly regret nothing as well, which is so beautiful to think and say. Yeah. I personally could have skipped high school, like the high school experience, especially the one I had. I always said, even to my parents in 8th grade, I was like, I'm ready for college. Like, I don't need high school.
Yeah.
And to this day, they're like, remember when you used to say that? I think you're right.
You're like, I know.
Yeah. Like, I could have spent 8 years of college.
Oh my gosh.
From 14 to 22. Are you kidding? I would have loved life.
I can see that for you.
Yeah, right? No,
for you.
No, for me. No, for sure. It's a very individual thing.
Yeah, I'm like, 8 years of college. Oh my.
Oh me, oh my. But yeah, another major point or a major experience and a lot of life lessons that came out of college was the dating scene. Specifically at ASU, at the time, things could change. It was a very, very casual dating reputation that it had. And oh boy, did that live up to its reputation. No one wanted relationships. No one actually wanted to date. It was a very, very, very casual scene. It was fun for a bit, especially like in the party social scene. But eventually, like, I must say, I did get sick of how casual it actually was. I think that was the first time where it was very highlighted that I was a woman. Period.
You go on. In what way? You realized you were a woman. Other people realized you were a woman.
Just the amount of unsolicited physical attention that I would get that was not warranted nor asked for.
Or desired.
Or consented to. the list goes on. There's a lot of different types of attention I was then exposed to that I knew existed, but didn't necessarily know how prevalent it actually could be in such a very casual dating kind of scene. Mm-hmm. A lot of which was not warranted or wanted or consented to, unfortunately. And granted, like, I got out of all of those situations in one piece, but doesn't mean that it wasn't, impactful. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I really wasn't aware of it then. I actually thought it was like, oh my gosh, like, I must be so attractive if everyone wants to touch my butt to get by.
Yeah, they have to grope me as they walk by. Otherwise, there's no way they can walk through.
Yeah, unfortunately, that wasn't, I wasn't so against that because first experience, wasn't quite aware of just how intrusive that is. Mm-hmm. And if anything, I think to protect myself in that moment was to be like, take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
Because or else you'll spiral.
Yeah, that's in one area, like something that I look back on that I'm like, I see things very differently with like how a lot of interactions were and what we were kind of told or expected to be okay with. That looking back, I'm like, what on earth was that? Like, absolutely not. We're very, if you're freshmen, you're probably 17, 18, you're young, maybe you haven't gotten attention in those ways before. And so it can be overwhelming. It can be flattering. It can be scary. It can be a lot of different emotions and reactions and feelings when, like you said, like now you're being, you're seen, you're very aware that you're a woman. You're very aware that you're an attractive, young, beautiful woman. People be looking, people be touching, and like, that's not okay.
Yes.
But in the moment, it's like, okay, like, I guess that's what it is. Like, I don't know. The more we've grown up, I'm like, I see a lot of situations very differently. And that is something that honestly, I think could be talked about more or emphasized more. And I think that times have slowly been changing in that sense. Yeah. And we're just talking from, our experience as women and with our interactions with men at the time in college,
Yeah. And when that time was, which was 2013 to 2017.
Yeah.
Completely different era than it is even now.
Yeah. Things that we accepted as appropriate
then
weren't appropriate then, but they were kind of seen as more like, that just comes with the territory.
Yeah, like brush it off.
Yeah. Whereas now I'm like, I'll punch you in the face. Like, you need to get away from me.
Oh, look at me even a little bit. I'm like, eyeballs to the left.
You got a problem? Like, don't even, I don't exist to you. Like, don't even try that now. It wasn't always comfortable, to be completely honest. Like, going from like, like I said, like, I didn't party in high school. Mm-hmm. I had no desire to date, genuine disinterest. Yeah. Like, I want to go to dance, I want to play Sims, and I want to take a nap. Like, that's all I cared about in high school. Like, and then in college, getting that attention, I'm like, I know I'm cute. But like,
like, duh.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't blame you.
Like, my presence is, a gift to your eyeballs right now.
You are welcome. I'm beautiful and precious. And like, I get it, sir. I get it. You can't blame them, like, but at the same time, it was like, I still don't always want that or like want to do anything about it. It's like an ego boost, but like, there is that line of like, I'm actually very uncomfortable and I don't know what to do about it because it's all very new and I'm young and I feel like I'm supposed to be flattered, but deep down I'm not into it. Like, you don't have to want that kind of attention, or you don't have to put up with people crossing your boundaries in that way, or like thinking that you should be flattered by certain comments or certain things. No. If you feel icky, it's probably because it's icky.
Yeah. I co-sign on all of that. Yeah, no, where you felt like it was icky, I just felt very like, I wouldn't say numb, but it was definitely just like this neutral ground of like, I don't know exactly how to feel because it doesn't feel terrible, but it also doesn't feel spectacular. Yeah. It was a very average, neutral feeling for me. And I think because on the opposite end of you, I did want that kind of attention. Not in that way, obviously. Like, I was trying to look for like my man. Yeah. I was trying to look for a relationship, to be honest, if that was even in the cards then. yeah, so any of that kind of attention, I was like, oh, I guess that's just part of getting to what I want.
Yeah, like you have to go through that kind of attention to get like the quality attention. Like,
yeah,
they just have to get that out of the way and then they'll be nice to you.
Right.
Like, no.
Which is obviously so messed up.
Yeah.
But that's the point I wish that was taught universally to all genders, all sexualities, like everybody, because I think that is a huge part of our evolution that needs to come yesterday.
Yeah. Truly.
I'll skip right to the lesson and reflection part of this point. But yeah, no, being in that similar situation where I was having these encounters and like wanting them, it did make me then into my adult life continue to accept that, thinking it was still okay, without really realizing, honestly, until this past year or so, after this last breakup, my God, where I was like, no, no, like I'm done with the BS of all of this. I'm not living up to this like expectation of being a woman and having to accept this treatment. Like, no, teach boys to be better. Are you kidding me? Like every time, especially right now, every time someone's like, oh, I don't want my daughter to date and da 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 da, I'm like, why don't you teach boys to respect your daughter so you wouldn't be so worried when she wants to express her romantic and dating? I can go off.
Yeah.
Anyway,
like, what's the root of the problem here?
Like you were saying, like how damaging that could be. It still did a number on me to the point where I still carried that in well into my 20s.
Yeah.
Like post college, which is like, should have left it there / shouldn't have happened at all. Consent is everything, obviously, and mutual energy and alignment is everything. All right, woman at a bar, she's here to go home with me at the end of the night. So I'm gonna go up and talk to her, buy her a drink, and that is it. I got my lucky ticket here.
Yeah.
And as a woman,
that's a little too accurate, unfortunately.
Yeah, and as a woman, like that's okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm a woman at a bar, but, like, maybe not looking for anything tonight. Oh, okay, well, you bought me a drink. Okay, maybe I should, like, give you a little bit more attention. Da-da-da. No!
If you buy someone a drink, you have to be okay with them walking away the second they get that drink. They don't owe you a look. They don't owe you eye contact. They don't owe you anything. If you're willing to buy something for someone that you don't know at a bar, why can't I walk away after that? I don't owe you. We did not sign a contract that if you buy me this drink, I have to stand here and pretend to be interested in talking to you for 5, 10, 20 minutes. No.
With the expectation of going home at the end of the night?
Absolutely not.
No.
I will take this drink and see you never.
We can go on, but what were, again, your expectations and specifics to like dating or just meeting people in that way going into college?
I was going into it more for like friends and just like a big social life, but I wasn't.
That wasn't at the forefront, or if at all.
Not even at the back front. Like, just like, yeah, no, like just genuinely like couldn't have cared less.
Yeah.
For me, it was just like not on my radar. It was definitely just like a broader social life is what I wanted.
Yeah. I'd say the same. Like, I did want to date and like have more experience dating for sure. And I did want more experience, like, honestly, just conversing romantically with a male. But it became way more apparent when we did do sorority stuff. And all of a sudden, date parties were every other month.
Oh my gosh.
So that level of pressure to bring someone from a trendy frat or someone within the same friend group as everyone else is bringing, all those dates, like that to me made the dating part that I wanted not fun. Yeah. Especially freshman and senior year was going with a literal stranger once again.
I don't know this man. Yeah. I don't know this man. Once I started just taking like girlfriends or guy friends, I'm like, great. I had the best time junior and definitely senior year when I started just taking friends. And I'm like, I'd bring people that like people would set me up with and like I wouldn't see them the whole time. And I'd be like, where's Kevin? Right. I don't care. He doesn't care. Like, we all get what we want out of this experience, which is like go to this club. Like I'll be with my friends, you go be with your brethren, and like everyone's happy.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, no. Freshman year, felt it was highlighted, that pressure. It still wasn't like as terrible, but I was like, this could be terrible later down the line if I continuously have to do that. And then luckily, well, I guess not so lucky, but whatever. Then sophomore, junior year, I was in a relationship with someone who didn't go to our school. It was long distance. So that took the pressure off. And I was like, I'll bring friends when he can't come.
Yeah.
And that was great. And then senior year, I just stuck with that, even though I was single again. So that was what really triggered the, oh my God, should I be dating for the sake of
having a date for
these things? Yeah. So the pressure at the very least is off. But then, once I started taking our really good girlfriends outside the two of us, it was so much fun. Like all of the date parties that we went to, we either got to go to our other friends with if they were in a different sorority than us. Those were the most fun times. Yeah. So that was my biggest takeaway, I would say.
Respecting your comfort, being honest about what you're comfortable with is huge in all areas in college. But really looking back, did I want to bring a strange man to a 2-hour date party that I'm never going to talk to again? No.
That you had to sit on a bus with to get to the venue there and back. What a time. What a time. College, man. I loved college. That is my general takeaway, is like, nothing will ever replace what a time that was. And even though at the time, things were problematic when we experienced them, that maybe wasn't at the forefront of being problematic yet, it still was such a time to like go to college.
Yeah.
Especially considering with all the pandemic things happening now, it's like,
like if your senior year was like 2020 or your freshman year.
Yeah.
Any year, but the first year and the last year are the best. And to not get like that full experience is sad.
If those are your intentions.
Yes.
Yeah. With the intentions that I did have and have thoroughly explained on this episode, I would have lost it.
Yeah. Because you can't get that back.
No. I would have been like, God, universe, Jesus, devil, somebody, please stop my aging. Just freeze me. Put me in a capsule, and then thaw me out, release me out, and so I can have my time.
When this lockdown stuff is over, like, let me be a freshman.
Yes. Oh my God.
And I'm honestly glad that we were in college when I think Instagram was like just invented. Social media was not what it is today.
Not even when we left.
No.
Yeah. It wasn't. I would say it was starting to, but it was only big players at the time. Yeah. There was really no such thing as like micro influencers yet.
Yeah.
Or anything of the sort.
Even really the term influencer, I feel like wasn't like solidified yet. It was like YouTuber, or like this person has a big Instagram following, but like that was it. It was not at the extreme that it is now. I really feel like we were in it at the perfect time.
But having to go in the early 2000s as well, when things were even more problematic then and supposedly accepted then. Yeah, I'd say again, we were there at the right time in this age of the world, I'd say. To me, there were definitely more good memories than bad.
Yeah.
And wonderful experiences than bad.
Well, thank you for listening. That's all for this episode, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Bye. I love this topic just because I loved our experience.
Yeah.
Or what we made out of it and what we got in return.
Us.
This life.
A podcast.
A wifey. Lifey.